the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Leahy.
Here.
Mr. Leary.
Here.
Ms. Martin.
Here.
Mayor Caulfield.
Here.
Mr. Conway.
Here.
Ms. Doherty.
Here.
Ms. Fattacante.
Here.
7 present.
I don't believe there's any special order of business, and if there's none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting by Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Conway. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The minutes have been accepted and placed on file. Permission to enter, Madam Superintendent?
Thank you, Your Honor. Arnold Currency, MD, for $10,005 to provide psychiatric and clinical observations and interviews to special education students for the purpose of clinical diagnosis. Funding provided by the Special Education Grant 240. Education, Inc., for the amount of $90,000 to provide academic support and tutoring services to special education children who are hospitalized. Funding provided by the Special Education Hospital Tutoring Account. Mount Prospect Academy, Inc., for the amount of $42,067 to provide for the out-of-district tuition costs for one student enrolled in receiving services as outlined in their special education IEP. Funding provided by the Special Education Department Special Education Tuition Account. That's all, Your Honor.
Any
Second.
questions on the request by the superintendent? Move approval by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy.
Here. Yes.
Mr. Leary.
Yes.
Ms. Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield.
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Memorials by Regina M. Fattacante. M. Denise Abbasi, sister of Frederick Abbasi, Adult Basic Education Director, and Patricia Abbasi, former Lowell High School Guidance Counselor. Judith Bartlett, sister of daily school teacher Barbara Favell. By committee as a whole, Yorli Valdez, a 5-year-old Lowell student who attended the Professional Center for Handicapped Children. By Connie Martin, Frances Keegan, mother of Kathleen Cody, Maury School teacher. Let us all rise in darkened chambers for a moment of silence. Thank you. May they rest in peace. Yes.
Could you just make sure everybody has the right agenda? Just make sure everybody has the right agenda for a minute. Can we make sure we pass these out? There was an
Oh, okay.
updated agenda.
Okay. Go right ahead. I thought I did something wrong.
See, it must have been just put on today.
Let me see. Okay. Any unfinished business? If none, we'll move on with the agenda. Public participation? None. Motions by Regina Fattacante to direct the superintendent to publicly thank the Outback Restaurant for their generosity in supporting the Lowell High School Athletic Department for their support of catering the homecoming dinner Saturday, October 24, 2009, with a written thank you note, seconded by Jackie Doherty. On the motion?
Thank you, Your Honor. When we had our athletic subcommittee meeting, Coach DeProfio, AD DeProfio, did tell us about the generosity of the Outback Restaurant. He had indicated that for the entire season, the Outback was actually sponsoring some events for us, and they were going to fully cater the dinner that took place on October 24th, and was for kids and parents and whatnot, and it was going to be a wonderful occasion. And so not often do we get to thank restaurants and businesses publicly for their generosity and their support of our kids, and they have been very generous to our kids all season long. So I would think that it would be appropriate for this committee to just send them a letter of thanks.
Yes, very appropriate. And the Outback Steakhouse does that almost on a regular basis with Little Leagues and so forth.
Yes.
They should be thanked and recognized. And so does the 99 Restaurant. Very, very, very generous. Any discussion on the motion? If none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Reports of the superintendent? Madam Superintendent?
Your Honor,
This is a
you
subcommittee.
skipped the
sorry.
subcommittee report. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to keep it short,
I'm
as
sorry.
you requested.
A subcommittee, athletic subcommittee report and approval of the minutes of October 15, 2009 by Regina and Petticoat.
Thank you. The members of the subcommittee that were present were Mr. Conway and Mr. Leahy, and also Mr. Leary joined us. From the central office was Deputy Superintendent Jean Franco, also James DeProfio, our athletic director, and Betty Santagati from the Fine Arts and Business Department. We talked about the creation of a halftime coaching position for the 2010-2011 school year. After Mr. DeProfio spoke to us, one of the things he made clear was that we would not need a cheerleading coach for the spring of 2011. It was not necessary. What he would like to do is take that money that we would have spent on the cheerleading coach and hire a halftime assistant coach for the cross-country team in the fall. One of the things that the coach said was that the cross-country team is really gaining in size and popularity, and as a result, we're probably a little deficient in having another part-time coach there. One of the things that we discussed, Your Honor, was that we've had, in our past practice, we have often done that. We have often hired a part-time coach. We have often hired 7 coaches for a sport, but where we were only paying 5, but people split the differences in their salaries. So we do have some past practice there. And one of the things that was brought up by Deputy Superintendent Franco is that these halftime positions would need to be negotiated. I would be hoping that the union, I would hope sincerely that the union would recognize that we have had past practice here and that we are looking to do the best for our kids. One of the things that is special about athletics in Lowell is that every kid gets to play, Your Honor. Every kid gets suited up, whether that's the $200 football uniform or the $30 track outfit. Every kid gets to suit up and play a sport. And it's this committee that has, through its wisdom, understood that an equalizer in our school system is our athletic program. When you go to other communities and kids are paying to play. But in the city of Lowell, we recognize that because of our challenges and because of the issues that we face, every kid gets to suit up. And it's great when one particular athletic sport begins to excel and attract more kids. So we're looking to have a vote from this committee to begin the negotiation process for that halftime coach. The other thing that we that this committee should brag about, Your Honor, is the Lowell High School Cruel team was competing at the head of the Charles Regatta. Now, Your Honor, we are a public high school. We put 5 boats in the water. Some of the private high schools, 1 boat, 2 boat. Our crew team put 5 boats in the water. And Coach DeProfio was there, and he heard some guy from a private high school say, "Is that the city of Lowell? The city of Lowell? Down 93?" And yes, it was the city of Lowell, down 93. So the crew team really needs to be applauded and congratulated on that.
And the parents, too.
Absolutely, the parents are, absolutely, I agree with you 100%. So we have a motion that we need to vote on, Your Honor, and that motion would be to begin the process of negotiating that halftime coaching position with the union. We're starting it early so that we can prepare for the spring.
Is there a financial or a transfer of money?
No financial, because what we did was we didn't hire the cheerleading coach, so there's money there to hire that halftime track coach. So we don't need to vote any money. We just need to vote to begin that process of negotiating that position.
Okay, seconded by John Leahy. Why don't we take a roll call vote, then we'll cover all the
Thank you,
bases,
Your
okay? Any,
Miss-
any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leahy,
Present.
Present.
Thank you.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin,
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 present, approved.
And for the final issue on this, Your Honor, is Mr. DeProfio presented the subcommittee with an opportunity for Lowell High School to apply for a K through 12 competitive grant to fund future and after-school intramural sports. Now, you remember, Your Honor, and to the committee, you remember during this budget process, one of the things this committee thought was important to maintain was our feeder program. And that feeder program really assists us at the high school. And here, Jim DeProfio goes out and uses some initiative, and he comes back with an opportunity for us to apply for this grant. Now, it's a pretty competitive grant process, but it's a possibility where we can take that money and continue to increase our feeder program. I mean, again, I don't need to preach to the choir here. We're all in this because we recognize that sports is a good thing for our kids. And so that's a report of progress, Your Honor.
Okay. Seconded, we want to take another roll call on this because I think it's a policy or procedure. So seconded by Mr. Conway. Roll.
Mr. Leahy,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Miss Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Miss Doherty,
Yes.
Miss Fattacante.
Yes.
7 yeas, approved.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. There's no other subcommittee reports? If none, we'll move on with the reports of the superintendent. School preparation for the flu,
Thank you, Your Honor.
upcoming flu season.
This was in response to a motion from school committee member John Leahy with regards to what preparations were taking place in our schools to get ready for the upcoming flu season. And there's a great deal of information in this memo, but I would like the committee to know that we continue to work closely with the health department, and Assistant Superintendent Ann Murphy is coordinating efforts. And I think it might be a good idea if I turn the mic over to Ann just to give us the update on the H1N1 flu at this time.
As many of you know, we had planned to have a flu clinic at Lowell High School for our students, free of charge, and ensuring that we had enough doses for all of our students. We have been informed by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health that the vaccine is not ready and that the doses are not available to us at this time. So we have had to cancel that flu clinic for the high school. We do plan to reschedule as soon as we get confirmation from the Department of Public Health when the vaccine will be available to us. It looks like it may be a situation where we will have the seasonal flu vaccine and the H1N1 vaccine right about the same time. So at this point, we're in discussion on how best to offer the vaccine to our high school students, then to our middle school students, and down the line. But at this time, I have nothing definitive to report to you other than we're awaiting news from the Department of Public Health.
Mr. Leary?
Just quickly, too, and I know that folks who are their students in the elementary area, you really need to contact your pediatrician. And just, you know, I know of all of us, like I have a 2-year-old, so my pediatrician has made the order. It's simply not there yet. I think that's the case across the board, that the vaccine isn't there. Just a quick question through you to the superintendent or assistant superintendent. The information from Mr. Curley, Director of Operations, that's been articulated to and presented to the custodians as well? Because I had a question from someone regarding one custodian not being fully knowledgeable, I guess, at the point in time of what they're supposed to be doing, and are we actually presenting this as, here's what our strategic plan is? Thank you.
That is my That's okay. That, it is my understanding, and I'll have Assistant Superintendent Lang speak further to it. And as the memo in front of you states, that the Department of Health has indicated to us that extraordinary measures are not necessarily to be taken, so we don't necessarily bleach in all of our schools, even if the H1N1 flu is in our schools on a nightly basis. But they do encourage us, as we are doing, to keep clean schools. But I will ask Assistant Superintendent Lang.
Thanks. Mr. Curley does work through the various senior custodians in the buildings, and they channel the information down to the junior custodians who they oversee and supervise. I have personally seen materials go out to them, just reminders about the upcoming flu season, how to help students and staff try to stay healthy and clean. And I know as Mr. Curley goes school to school, it is something they speak about. Information is also sent out to the building administrators just to keep them informed of what they should be looking for in the schools and what the expectation levels are of staff and cleaning and protocols and things of that sort. So that information goes out regularly, but again, this year in particular, just to get ready for the flu season, I've seen materials come across my desk.
I think this information is coming from the Department of City of Lowell Health Department, not from the school departments, for the education of the viewing audience. This is, we're taking,
Their
we're taking our
direction.
advice from their direction. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Your Honor. I found this information very useful. I appreciate the time and the effort involved in staying on top of keeping our schools clean. One area that concerns me that I thought during the meeting I had expressed and was hoping we'd get a more full report on was the paragraph at the end talking about the education to our staff and students about the need to, wash your hands frequently and things like that. The other piece of it is, I'm not sure how each school schedules time for hand washing. I know that we're under tight, every moment counts in school, but I wonder if we could get some information on that, if we could, because I'm thinking of one middle school I know of that there's a certain time, and it's, right before lunch or whatever, that all the kids take a break, use the restroom, wash their hands before lunch. I don't know if that would be considered sufficient hand washing, so I was just looking for a little more information, and I don't know how you want to go forward with it, but I would like to have more details about how we're going to make sure we educate our kids in the classrooms, if that's going to come from the nursing staff, or how it's going to come from as a directive from central office. And then the other piece of that is to ensure that we have plenty of opportunities for children throughout the day to wash their hands. So I'm just looking for some more specific guidelines on those areas. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this, Madam Superintendent?
Through me, please, to Assistant Superintendent Murphy to address the issue.
We have sent out, from my office, we have sent out to all the principals asking them to send out with the students information sheets for home and for the staff, specifically around precautions, washing your hands, the importance of that, what to do if you're not feeling well, to stay home, some guidelines that have been issued from the Department of Public Health. And so that went out last week to all of the principals, and I asked that they share that with all the staff and send it home with the students. So if your students haven't received it, they'll probably be coming in the packet for you. And there were two forms. One information flyer was geared more toward the elementary level, and one more toward the middle school level. But we are keeping our staff informed as best we can, and we do have information on the website, the Lowell Public School website, for families and staff around flu precautions and preventative measures.
Mr. Leahy?
Thank you. When I had asked for this report, we had talked about it with you at a meeting about a month ago or so, but I just wanted the committee to be updated, and I did just want to make sure that, if any problems arise, could you please make sure that we're informed, such things as running out of Kleenex or soap, sanitizers in the classroom. I'm sure the bathrooms and everything's all set, but did Mr. Curley, if I could ask through you to Assistant Superintendent Lang, I see that they're using the KVAC touchless cleaning system more often and this and that. So are we just going to have periodic checks though, right, just to make sure? That's what Mr. Curley's doing, just kind of randomly making sure that we are doing this, right?
Yeah, it's communicated, again, from him kind of through the senior custodians of the building, and they're the ones that maintain with their staff the cleanliness of the school. There are certain guidelines that Department of Public Health, Department of Education might put out. You know, they would, as they're going around school to school, make sure they're being enforced. And I think the Kaivac system is a great cleaning tool that we brought in some years back, but really Floor to Ceiling does a great job of disinfecting the bathrooms. And I think normally that used to, because it is an extensive process, be at least a once-a-week thing, but I think we're asking for the flu season to be at least twice a week. You will find some schools that will do more than that. It's just part of their daily routine, but at a minimum, we're saying that it should be done twice a week in the schools.
Okay, and just more thoughts going into this, like maybe some schools host more basketball games or volleyball games, so we'll keep an eye on heavier, the use of facilities and
Right.
just to make sure we keep up with it. And if there are any problems, just please keep us informed. We can always make a decision on whatever we need to do.
We
Thank
certainly
you.
would.
Any other discussion on this topic? If none, accept the communication placed on file by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Ms. Martin. All in favor, signify by saying aye. That has been accepted and placed on file. Lowell Telecommunication Board appointments, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Your Honor. We need a vote from the school committee to appoint 2 representatives to the Board of Directors of the Lowell Telecommunications Corporation to represent the school committee. The 2 representatives last appointed by the members were Jack Bernard, Educational and Television Program Coordinator. Mr. Bernard has been a tremendous addition to the board, both because of his technical expertise and because of his advocacy of Lowell Educational TV. His continued service would be a great benefit to LTC. Wayne Marsh, Network Administrator, was the other appointee, and because of his heavy workload, is unable to serve.
Ms. Doherty?
Yes, through you to the superintendent. Did you have a recommendation for the second position, or are we just going to be filling Mr. Pinard at this point?
That is my understanding, but through myself to Mr. Lang.
Well, there's Mr. Penard and Mr. Marsh, right?
I believe the notice said Mr. Marsh does not have the time to continue to serve.
Oh, he doesn't.
Did I read it incorrectly?
Yeah. Is unable to
He's
serve.
not available, so
Okay.
where we have 2 representatives, I don't know if we want to just go with 1 tonight and get a recommendation. That's my question.
That's my understanding. We'll take the vote for the 1.
Yep.
Thank you.
So then I would make a motion
Move for
to,
approval by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Conway. Roll call.
To vote for Mr., do you vote?
Mr.
to vote by
Pinard.
name?
Mr. Penard?
Yeah, yeah, vote by name, okay. Mr. Leahy?
By name, is that correct?
Wait,
Jack Penard.
what's the
Jack
request?
Pinard.
To vote by name, to say that they vote for Mr. Pinard.
Okay, Jack Pinard.
Okay.
Mr.
Leahy?
Jack Pinard.
Mr. Larry?
Jack Bernard.
Miss Martin?
Jack Pinard.
Mayor Caulfield?
There's only one request here, so I guess I have to say Mr. Penard.
Mr. Conway?
Jack Panan.
Miss Doherty?
Jack Pinard.
Miss Fattacante?
Jack Penard?
7 votes for Jack Pinard.
New business, Madam Superintendent. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But, so is it our intention not to fill that other position, or do we not have a staff person?
I
My
probably,
My understanding is at this time, I'm not sure what the confusion is, because I thought Wayne was going to do it, so
Okay.
there was a change. So I'll
Okay.
check.
So
I
I
will
just don't want
check.
to leave the seat
Just
open.
one. Yep.
Perfect.
if
Thank
it
you very much.
requires 2 positions, we should find someone else. to-
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the superintendent's going to do that, right? Okay. New business, Madam Superintendent, convention conference request.
Thank you. I'm requesting permission for Jean Franco and our K-12 English Language Arts Coordinator, Phil Schlichter, to attend the 5th Annual Promoting Learning Superintendent Solutions Summit on December the 6th and the 8th, 2009, in Washington, D.C. This conference is a unique opportunity to interact with colleagues and experts in integration of research and practice to improve results. There will be no cost for this conference to the Lowell Public School Department. No substitutes are required.
Move approval.
Move approval by Ms. Fattacante, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Mr. Leahy?
Yes.
Mr. Larry?
Yes.
Miss Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
Ms. Fattacante.
Yes?
7 yeas, approved.
Your Honor, I just make one comment. I just would like to thank these two people because there is no cost to the district, and obviously they're probably paying for themselves, so, thank you.
Thank you is in order. Thank you. Communications, a thank you letter from the United Teachers of Lowell dated October 20th, 2009, to the staff and students of the Educational Television Channel 22 for their time and assistance with the October 14 Candidates Night, and rightfully so, and I attended that Candidates Night, and the students, the staff from the Channel 22, and the organizers of that Candidates Night should be applauded and commended. It was an excellent,
It was.
an excellent forum. So, accept the communication, place it on file by Ms.
Approve, Your Honor.
Fattacante, seconded by Mr. Conway. All in favor, signify by saying aye. That's been accepted and placed on file. Is there anything else to discuss on the agenda? If not, I want to recognize the superintendent of schools. I think the superintendent has some great news for this committee, but more importantly for the students, the parents, and the viewers at home. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were informed yesterday afternoon by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education how Lowell Public Schools scored on the new student assessment data, which is called a growth model. And the growth model in the state, we lobbied to be part of the pilot last year, one of 7 urban school districts in the state, to look at our data so that we would be able to measure individual students' growth over time. And the reason why this is particularly important for urban school districts like Lowell is that many of our students, for a whole host of reasons, come to us at a particular grade level. English may be their second language. They may be facing the challenges and hardships of poverty, so they come many grades below. And many of our teachers work tirelessly to improve student achievement every day. And the traditional MCAS doesn't necessarily measure how far a student has come. So if a child comes into your classroom and they're 3 years below a particular grade level, and they have moved a year and a half, let's say 15 months, that's not reflected in the traditional MCAS data. It looks like you're underperforming in your classroom, and teachers and students feel obviously somewhat defeated, even though great success has occurred. So we really wanted this particular model because we feel that it's more reflective of the work that's being done in our classrooms, and it will help us determine what needs to happen next in our classrooms for our students. So this press release went out from myself today to our community at large. I'm sharing it with the committee this evening. And I would like to highlight a few key points that the typical student in Lowell grew in the 49th percentile in the English language arts and in the 55th percentile in mathematics, according to this new particular model. Lowell's 55th percentile growth in mathematics was the top of all urban school districts in the state of Massachusetts, and there's 27 urban school districts. And I really have to take my hat off to the previous administration, to our teachers. That's been a long journey to get to the top, to have a top ranking in math across the state. And we continue to do great work in that area. We had our data summits where we had all of our teachers from every grade level come down and look at their math data for the first time this year with their coaches, with the administration, and to analyze exactly what does the data say we need to do next with regards to the instructional strategy or practice that has to happen for the student in front of them. So we're really excited about the direction we're going in, and as many people have heard me say since I arrived almost a year and a half ago, Lowell Public Schools is the coolest urban school district in the state, and we have the stats to show it. Only 3 greater Lowell districts had a higher MCAS growth score than we. We did Lowell's 66th percentile growth in grade 6, topped the list of urban districts, another very impressive statistic. The Moody Elementary School had among the highest growth score in the state. So congratulations to the staff at the Moody. Paul Georges and I went to the Moody staff last week and congratulated them on this data. 7 Lowell schools, the Moody, the Wing, Stocklosa, Maury, Lincoln, Pine Arts, and the Daly, the median student growth percentile in the high growth range in mathematics, and the remaining schools in our system were above or at the moderate growth level. And I should state to the committee that although this information was just released late yesterday afternoon for us, and this press release is going out, and due to the late time of this meeting tonight, I'll give a full presentation on the growth model so that we can understand and educate our community to what exactly the parameters are of the growth model. We met with all of our over 100 administrators 2 weeks ago on the model in preparation for this data to be released to them. So that they are well aware. So when this information went out to the schools today, they knew how to have a conversation with their staff and just how proud we are of our schools. 4 Lowell schools, the Moody, the Daly, the Lincoln, and the Wing, made medium scores above the 60th percentile, which is again high growth in English language arts. Of the remaining 18 schools, 11 had scores at the moderate growth range. The Moody, the Maury, and the Lincoln, and this is a really exciting statistic for us, scored in the highest growth rate of the district in our elementary schools. And I point out the Maury school was one of the schools that we targeted last year with school improvement monies from the state. And when I first arrived, I had a conversation with Assistant Superintendent Murphy and Deputy Jean Franco with regards to interventions that we would put into place at the Maury and other schools in our system. And this is the highest growth that this school has shown such growth in such a short period of time. As you know, the district did come, the department did come and evaluate that particular program that we put in place there. It was very positively received by staff. The staff came to the curriculum subcommittee and shared the gains at that school and how pleased they were with the direction that they were going in. And this stat here shows what great work the staff is doing at that school. And the Wayne, Stocklosa, and the Daly had the highest growth rates of the district in the middle schools. So congratulations to all of our staff. This particular information is powerful, it's hopeful, and we are very pleased with the direction we're going in.
Mr. Leahy.
Thank you. I just want to say that, I mean, this is great news. And as you said, this really shows that the work that's being done here, the progress, that isn't reflected on the MCAS.
Correct.
So there's no mistake
Correct.
that we're moving forward. And that's great to know.
I'd like
Thank
to
you.
hear that word.
No
moving
mistakes,
forward.
yep.
Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very briefly, that's incredible news, and I congratulate all the staff for doing a fantastic job, and also the students too. There's been again great progress, and I love that direction. That's a nice positive direction. And you know, when you think about it, look at all the negatives that we were hit with last year with the budget crisis, and yet we still have something extremely positive that comes out of that. And I certainly want to congratulate all the staff for doing an
Rightfully
excellent
so.
job. Thank you.
Connie?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. You know, I just have to echo my colleagues' sentiments, but I think there are a lot of key strengths, I think, that using this model really offers to districts as they look at their data in new ways and really try to glean from it real kind of valuable instruction for our administration, for this committee. And for me, as I look at it, one of the key things really is this idea that you're talking about multiple measures with the same child. You know, the scores aren't included in this measure if you don't have a third and fourth grade, you know, two grades, two MCAS experiences to compare. So one of the key things to this is the consistency that these particular students who are included in the growth model statistics kind of automatically have an edge because they have consistent exposure to education here in the Lowell Public Schools. I think that offers a much more valid measure for us because obviously those are students who are getting their kind of full dosage of education, within one district with that kind of, with the benefits that consistency always brings. But I do also think that it shows for us that there are other groups of children that we're going to need to provide different types of services for. Because this gives us, I think, a great model in terms of judging our district's success in education, but it doesn't, it won't answer the problems of all of our students. So great growth results don't mean full accomplishment. It means that we're doing everything right, and that is thrilling beyond, I do not mean to discount that, because I think, especially in this environment, any good news is welcome, but particularly good news that is so substantive is more than welcome. But I do think it also tells us, particularly in urban districts, that it won't give us the full picture. We're always going to need to be able to take kind of different snapshots of our students to ensure that none of our students fall between the cracks. But I do offer my congratulations to the administration, to all our frontline staff, everyone really working in our district. This reflects just absolute dedication and devotion to the craft and the art of teaching, and extremely proud to be a member of this committee when we get news like this. Thank you.
Mr. Leary.
Just quickly, I won't, everything each of my colleagues have said are well-founded. Congratulations. I think also that this ties into how well the high school did it the sophomore year, that a lot of our individual improvement at the elementary and middle schools, when our folks are taking their freshman year, the freshman academy, moving into their sophomore year for MCAS, shows the improvement we had in every subgroup that we had when we met our AYP.
Right.
So it's a really, it does show that. I mean, now we need the challenges, as Ms. Martin said, is really developing action plans to continue this and move forward. Thank you and congratulations.
Ms. Doherty?
I just would like to add one thing. I also am thrilled with the scores and what it's showing about the work being done. And I look forward to having a more in-depth discussion, I believe, during the curriculum subcommittee, so we can start to really pick it apart in more detail, because I think it's also a great learning tool for us, and so I look forward to that. Thank you.
Jean? Ms. Franco?
Yeah, I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the school committee for their support every single time. We've gone through such very tough budgets over time, for making those important decisions that have made the right decisions, and of course the support of the curriculum subcommittee that's always been listening to the rhetoric and the lingo of this field of education, which is always very complicated, especially in the world of improvement. As the figurehead for curriculum, I cannot feel more supported by a body of people, so I want to thank you all for your support over the time, and I'm thrilled by our children's outcomes, so thank you.
Madam Superintendent?
Just a point of clarification. As we go forward here, I was going to do a presentation for the full committee, but on the growth model, but would it be more appropriate for us to do it at a subcommittee meeting and then bring it here?
Honestly, I do think it might benefit us to have the presentation happen here on the floor. We have the information, and, that's great, but I do think that we'd really benefit, and for, all of our parents in the community that are watching, the model itself needs a little explanation. We've been kind of preparing for it, so
Right.
I think we have a better sense of it, but I think it's really, for people to really fully appreciate
Exactly.
what this means, and it means something important, I think we'd benefit from having you do the presentation to the full committee, so everyone could benefit from it.
Right.
Madam Superintendent?
I appreciate that, and as I have said on numerous occasions to the chair of the curriculum subcommittee, as Jean Franco just mentioned, the work that gets done in that subcommittee has so informed these results, and the support staff appreciate. They like coming before the subcommittee, as they did last spring, to share their successes that they have, and will continue to do that in the future.
I know we've all had moments to say thank you, and it's very, very important to do that. But I'd like to just go a step further. If the committee would allow, the superintendent agrees, the mayor's office will make up a citation and have every committee member sign, and I will put that citation in a frame, and it should be hand-carried or delivered to every single school that's excelling. Or we can do it right here, because it's a way of showing our appreciation for the great work that's being done out there in the classroom, in the administration, this committee and so forth. It's not bad news. This is, as John said, great news. And I think we should show our appreciation in some way or matter. And just say thank you for a great job. And I think that's what instills productivity and instills pride and dedication. And we see it every day in the school system. But I think just take that one little step further. Would you like to see that happen?
Well,
Okay.
I'm thinking, Your Honor, it would be great if you're going to do that, then Deputy Superintendent Franco can probably put schools together for you, and we should do it here.
Oh, any way you like.
I'm thinking that if certain schools have excelled that much, then publicly,
Right.
their principal and a couple of the kiddos should come and get the big pat in the back.
Right.
And get it done here so that everybody, I know kiddo is an old-fashioned word, but everybody should get to see which schools are improving. Because when parents go to pick schools for their kids, they can say, gee, I didn't think about sending my child to that school.
Yeah.
That's a very good viable option for me. So if we're going to be doing some back patting, then we should do it here on the school committee floor.
Okay. And Madam Superintendent, if you have a member of your staff, or you call my office
Yes, sir.
and give us the verbiage, whatever you'd like, and we'll also make sure that every school committee member can sign their name and show appreciation. Has every school received these high marks, Madam Superintendent?
Some schools in our district,
Not every school.
no, some schools in our district have performed more effectively on this particular measure
So-
than others.
So that means not every school will get and you know what? They'll make them try all the harder. So it's wonderful. And Madam Superintendent?
I would like to say that, you know, although we have many schools in our district tonight that we are celebrating, those schools that weren't able to reach at this time the same level of growth, we are supporting them, the staff who work at that school, and the children and the families who go to those schools. And so it is our job to ensure that they too receive our support and the same success that these schools presently are. That is our focus. We have been in conversation with various staff over what this data means, and we will continue to have those conversations. So I just want to, again, congratulate all of our students and our staff on these accomplishments.
That's it? Okay. Before, yes.
So I'm going
Ms.
to
Fa-
suspend the rules to make a motion that we bring forward those schools that have performed exceptionally, and that they be publicly
Motion to suspend the rules by Ms. Fattacani, seconded by Mr. Conway. All in favor, signify by saying aye. The suspensions are in order.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I'm going to make a motion that Deputy Superintendent Franco put a list together for us of those schools that have performed most exceptionally, and that they be brought forward to the school committee for congratulations.
And I'll get those made up for you. Everyone can sign. And let that be displayed in the
Absolutely.
school. And it's just a constant reminder, you know what? We have to do this every year and make it better. And those schools who don't have one, they're gonna have to work a little harder. I just want, before we adjourn, there was a candidates night at the senior center, and Jackie Dougherty was present, and there was a question posed from the audience. The council should do more to control the money with the school department and so forth, and I wanted to rebut that question, and I couldn't because I already had rebutted another one. But I told the Lowell Sun reporter that the school department had received $8 million in cuts. Not one employee in the school department received a pay raise, like every employee in the city of Lowell didn't receive a pay raise. I didn't have a chance to answer that, but I wanted to in the worst way. By law, as we all know, Chapter 70 money is dedicated to the schools. The city or town has to come up with a budget for the school system, and we received $14 million in local aid cuts. $8 million was directed to the school department. I wanted to get that out, and, but I just couldn't. I just want to let you know, and I think Jackie realizes I try to do that. With that said, oh, one other thing. Friday, I believe it's Friday, did everyone get the invitation for the Morey School? 10:45. Treasurer Tim Cahill will be there, along with another state representative, and we will cut the ribbon and, Madam Superintendent, at the Morey School.
And the school's very excited to have us all come and to celebrate their beautiful new facility. And last Friday, the Commissioner of Education for the state, Mitchell Chester, also joined us at the Morey School to see the beautiful new facility. And again, that was the school that was and continues to be on the quote-unquote underperforming list. But as the data shows tonight, they made one of the biggest gains in the state. So we congratulate the Morey staff and the work that they did. And that meeting of the commissioner coming here really was a result of school committee member Connie Martin and Jean Franco and myself going to the state and going over the review of the work that had been done here last year, and he wanted to come see the work firsthand. So he did meet with a focus group of teachers at the Morey School, and then some of our students at the Morey School gave a rendition of This Land Is Your Land and a few other delightful songs. So we thank the staff at the Morey School and the students there for being so hospitable to the commissioner, and we know that they'll do a great job with their treasurer on Friday. Thank you.
And I neglected to mention that that day at Lowell High School was absolutely wonderful, because 175 students received the Abigail Adams Scholarship Award, which enables them to go to any state university or college free of tuition. And a great deal of thanks should go to not only Governor Patrick, but the legislature and our Lowell delegation, Senator Panagiotakis, Representative Golden, Murphy, and Nangle, for implementing this wonderful program. And those students, it was just wonderful. And the Commissioner of Education, Mitchell Chester, was extremely, extremely impressed with Lowell High School and the students. So it was a wonderful, wonderful day. Anything else to discuss? I want to wish everyone the best of luck in the election. And with that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn by Mr. Leary, seconded by Ms. Brown. Thank you.